Hello and welcome to the Franchise Marketing Show. This episode was recorded at the International Franchise Show at the Excel. So although we use some really good microphones, there is some background noise going on, there's some announcements going on, because obviously it was a really busy show. But the content is absolutely fantastic. I really enjoyed recording these interviews, and I hope you enjoy watching/listening to them as well. Enjoy.
So we're here at the International Franchise Show at Excel, and I'm joined here by Sonny.
Hello.
If you'd like to introduce yourself and tell us a bit about your franchise.
Awesome, of course. Yeah, so my name's Sonny Shahnawaz. I'm the co-founder of Momlette. It's a brunch cafe, a fusion brunch cafe that started off in East End, namely Brick Lane. And what we focused on was really representing a cultural background of Bengali street food and really finding a good mix between English breakfast and brunch options and fusing it with traditional flavors of Bengal. So we started off just over a year ago now, and within that period we've become quite popular, I guess, especially through the use of social media. We've trended on a number of different platforms, and it's become a number one brunch spot for many people because of our unique approach to the whole brunch flavors, especially taking a different twist on the English traditional options that are available. So that's us. We are based on Cheshire Street, just off Brick Lane in the Shoreditch area. And yeah, we're looking now to branch out, and we're in official talks with a number of potential franchisees dotted all around London, and we're looking at outside of London right now as well.
Amazing. Sounds great. I mean, the concept sounds amazing. It made me feel quite hungry just thinking
I'm
about...
fasting, so I'm really hungry thinking about my food. Yeah,
So exciting times looking to franchise. Who's the kind of profile franchisee, do you think? Someone that you'd like to talk to? What kind of skills do you feel they need? Do they need experience in this kind of business? Like, who does it suit, do you feel?
So I think a perfect franchisee is the one who has a bit of an entrepreneurial streak in them, but at the same time is not maybe very risk tolerant and has a bit of risk aversion in them, in that they like a system of a tried and tested methodology of something that's already successful, and you're able to see the success of Momlette, for instance, when you go on our Instagram, on our Twitter, whatever it is, and just go in front of the shop, you'll see queues and queues. So there is a success formula there. So those people who want to essentially be their own boss, but do it within a system which is tried and tested, and so that's essentially the mentality of the perfect franchisee in general. But for someone who's interested in Momlette in particular, it would be someone who can really appreciate the culture that we're bringing to it, that can appreciate brunch as a particular type of food, because it is a hearty food. It is something that needs, you set aside some time to have some brunch, right? So you need to have a friendly approach to food. And we as a brand are a very friendly brand as well. We're playful in our brand. We're not too serious. We don't try to pretend something we're not. So the ideal franchisee would be someone who has a passion for what we bring to the table, other than our food, but the actual brand story as well, and someone who is looking to really try something that has a lot of buzz around it, because that's what Momlette right now does.
Absolutely. And do they need to have a background in food? Do they have to have worked within the kind of sector before?
So my specialism is in setting up business systems.
Okay.
My business partner Shubo is the one who's the foodie. Yep. So all of the magic that's in our food comes from him. But all of the systems of how to make the business a successful business, not for ourselves but also for our franchisees, and make it essentially a turnkey process. I hate to use these business buzzwords, but it is exactly that. We try to make it in such a way that the work that we've put in, you should not have to replicate it. You shouldn't have to reinvent the wheel. So it's all there. It's all a system that you can essentially take off the shelf and expect success as a result of that. So you don't need to be either a restaurateur or someone who is a specialist in business systems, because we bring all of those things for you as the franchisee to have the support that you need to be successful as possible.
Amazing. And Just give me an idea of the kind of scale of the business, the size of the business. Someone looking to invest in the franchise, what could that look like? What could it look like from size of business after a year, and how could it look in 5 years?
Yeah.
Is there room to open multiple locations, etc.? How do you see that?
Yeah. So we are just in the process of opening our second corporate branch and 2 other franchises. So by the end of the year, there's going to be essentially 4 Momlettes. But we are looking to, and we have interest from all over the UK because right now there isn't a brand in the brunch field. There are very great brunch places, but because their food is sometimes very, very complicated, I would say, it's hard to replicate over multiple branches. What we've done is make sure that we've put a lot of emphasis on standardization such that it's scalable from 1 all the way to 10 to 100 in the same way and with the same level of quality. So we are looking to really go no holds barred. Wherever we find there's interest, there's the right team, and there's the passion, we will be there to support them to set up a Momlette and essentially dominate that area for when it comes to brunch.
Amazing. And I have to think, like people walking around a show like this, when it comes to investing in the franchise, there's so many different things. I think if you're employed, probably one of the things you think of when you're walking around here is actually, if I invest in this franchise, what would a typical day look like? I'm going for my job, I'm going to invest in this franchise. What would a typical day of a franchisee look like?
So a typical day for a Momlette franchise essentially look like, first and foremost, there's a startup period. So it will essentially be a lot of learning processes that we've already implemented. Some of that will be face-to-face learning with the co-founders, with my team, and really knowing what the business is going to entail. So there's an education process. So you don't just jump into it from a 9 to 5 to running your own shop. It's not that.
Yeah.
There is a real build-up to it. So there's I would say a 4 to 6 week build-up process where you really get your bearings for the business world, how to run your own business, how to run your own storefront, how customer service looks like. So there's that part, and then the grand opening happens, and you essentially put your best game face on, and you go out and you face the world, and you say, "This is us. This is what we're doing." And again, even throughout that whole period, we're there. We make sure that for the first month there is a dedicated franchise manager for any process elements, any teething issues. So you're never alone. But eventually, what it is, and I don't want to sound like I'm oversimplifying it, but you are your own boss at the end of it. You're not essentially doing all the work for someone else's profit. You're doing it for your own bottom line, and you are benefiting you and yours at that end. So that's what the end result is. You become your own boss in a more structured fashion, where with the support of an existing brand and an existing system.
Amazing. If someone's interested, what's the best thing they can do?
Yeah, so if you're interested, go to momlette.com. We have a tab for business and franchise. Just ping us a request. We'll send over the initial documents and we'll get started from there.
Brilliant. Sonny, thanks for joining us.
Awesome. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Cheers.